Предприниматель? Тебе известно, что реклама в YouTube в 2020 году – это самый выгодный способ привлечь клиентов и развить свой бренд. Здесь и сейчас конкуренция на порядок ниже, чем в той же контекстной рекламе. Прямо сегодня с бюджетом всего в 20-30 тысяч рублей даже в конкурентной нише видеообъявление будет показано десятки тысяч раз. А при бюджете от 300 тысяч рублей уже можно рассчитывать на миллионную целевую аудиторию. И это именно целевая аудитория. Потому что YouTube, в отличие от телевизора, позволяет подобрать аудиторию самым тщательным образом. Здесь, помимо регионов, можно указывать возраст и пол, интересы пользователей, их намерения и даже события. Вы можете выбрать людей с собственным жильем или детьми, тех, кто собирается жениться или сменить работу. И что еще очень важно, вы платите за просмотр только тех объявлений, которые вызвали интерес у вашей аудитории. А те видеоролики, на которые пользователи YouTube кликнули пропустить, остаются для вас бесплатными. Мы специализированное агентство по рекламе в YouTube и точно знаем, что сейчас эта площадка отлично подходит как для малого бизнеса, так и для ребят покрупнее. Автодилеры, застройщики, юристы, платные медицинские клиники, компании по ремонту квартир или установке платформ. Можно сделать даже бесплатно. Советую поторопиться. Конкуренция в YouTube скоро серьезно возрастет. А сейчас самый подходящий момент для старта. Ведь все люди, ввиду карантина, остаются дома и смотрят YouTube, а значит рекламу. Вашу или ваших конкурентов. Не упустите свой шанс создать сильный бренд, опередить конкурентов, сохранить и увеличить свои продажи. Оставляйте заявку на рекламе в YouTube. Прямо сейчас.
Hi, in this lesson I'll teach you a very simple way to understand how all scales that are well suited for building up harmonies are ordered and related to each other. We'll end up systemizing 33 scales in total. First we'll have the theory section, learning the very big picture and how all scales can be so very nicely ordered. Then we try out the scales in practice, and we learn when to.
Хотите узнать, как я получаю?
Hi everyone, I'm Josh and welcome to Josh Wright Piano TV. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I wanted to do a review on two outlier type piano benches. These are two benches that you may not have considered, but I think the uses are extremely valuable and I wanted to do a little review on these. PianoWorks was gracious enough to send these to me. As many of you may remember from a recent review I did, these are called Hidrau model benches or Hidrau Model, a company from Spain. These are my favorite piano benches of any that I've ever tried. I've had Jansen benches, I've tried many other hydraulic benches, and these are by far my favorite. These two benches, this is the 20-inch stool, and this is the 43-inch Super Duet bench. And these are two benches you may not have considered before, but I think their uses are highly valuable, so I look forward to telling you about some of the specs, and then I'm gonna line up all four sizes of piano benches because I've purchased the 30-inch and the 26-inch, and now I have these other two to compare them to. So let's go ahead and dig into this review. Okay, the reason I like these benches is they have a very high adjustability. So this is all the way lowered. This little one only has handles on one side, so a little hydraulic handle. So this is the lowest. That's ridiculous. That's so high. You would never need to go that high unless you were very small. So my little 3-year-old daughter, she loves these benches because she can actually get high enough for the proper arm height, okay? And this is the 43-inch Super Duet bench, okay? And then this is the 26-inch that I'm sitting on, okay? So as you can see, that is a lot of adjustability. Some of the Jansen benches and other benches do not have that high of an adjustability. This really comes into play when you're talking about small children who need extra height. That's especially prevalent when you come to a lot of upright pianos. Grand pianos, for the most part, are fairly standard in their height, but a lot of upright pianos have several inches of play. So if you're at a particularly high upright piano key level, if the keys are a little higher than usual, or if they have them, or if you have a grand piano up on those caster wheels, especially in concert halls, grand pianos feel great with most regular adjustable benches, and then they put them up on those like 4 or 5 inch caster wheels, and even if you adjust the height all the way up, if you like anything higher than maybe mid-level bench, your bench is not going to adjust high enough. So that's one of the reasons I love these benches. Let's specifically get into why I like these two sizes and the various reasons I might choose these over a standard 26 and 30 inch bench. And by the way, if I was just to choose one bench, I probably would choose the 26 or the 30. If I was just a single person living alone, just practicing day in and day out, the 26 or the 36. And I love these benches. Let's specifically get into why I like these two sizes and the various reasons I might choose these over a standard 26 and 30 inch bench. And by the way, if I was just to choose one bench, I probably would choose the 26 or the 30. If I was just a single person, I would choose the 26 or the 30. If I was just a single person living alone, just practicing day in and day out, the 26 or the 32 are perfect. But let's talk about the uses why you may want to consider one of these. All right, I believe this is their full lineup of benches. Again, I've owned this one for 2 or 3 years now, holding up great. This is in the leather. You might notice this is a little bit shinier. Could possibly be that the leather ages differently over time. This is also much newer. I noticed the leather was not this shiny when I 2 or 3 years now, holding up great. This is in the leather. You might notice this is a little bit shinier. Could possibly be that the leather ages differently over time. This is also much newer. I noticed the leather was not this shiny when I first got it. Over shinier. Could possibly be that the leather ages differently over time. This is also much newer. I noticed the leather was not this shiny when I first got it. The rest of these are holding up great. This is in the leather. You might notice this is a little bit shinier. Could possibly be that the leather ages differently over time. This is also much newer. I noticed the leather was not this shiny when I first got it. The rest of these are in vinyl. So the Super Duet 43 inch, this is the 30 inch, 26 inch, 20 inch. The 26, I'm gonna stand up, I might get cut off here. The 26 has 2 legs, as does the 30 and the 43 inch. However, the stool only has 1 leg here. So as you can see, however, it has a nice wide base of support. So it's not going to be super wobbly as you might imagine a one-legged bench might be, because it spreads out that weight. The thing to remember with these benches is that when you typically see those big, bulky, adjustable benches, they have all the weight at the top of the bench. So they have to make them a lot wider, deeper, if you will. These are a lot skinnier. And I like that because that promotes good bench position for students. I always tell students you need to have your butt on the front half of the bench because that grounds your feet down into the floor a bit more. If you sit on a Jansen bench or any of these other benches that are kind of wide, they have to make them that wide so that they don't topple over when you stand up. you're going to notice that some students will sit all the way back with their butt parallel to the back edge of the bench. What that does, that shifts your body weight back, and now you're playing. To notice that some students will sit all the way back with their butt parallel to the back edge of the bench. What that does, that shifts your body weight back, and now you're playing with less balance. So this skinnier depth, even though it may not look as attractive as some of those big tufted beautiful benches, actually promotes a better posture. Let's jump over to the Super Duet. I want to show you how big it is first, and then we will go to the stool, the 20-inch stool. All right, this is the 43-inch Super Duet bench from Hydra-Medel. PianoWorks has labeled it as the Super Duet bench because Hydra-Medel also claims that the 30-inch is a duet bench. However, I can tell you from personal experience, that is not as enjoyable to practice for long sessions on as this would be. The 30-inch does work. My wife is very small. I'm fairly average, and we're crammed on there pretty tight. So this gives ample room. And just to demonstrate with a silly little example, I'm right on the edge comfortably, not hanging off the edge, and I can stack 3 of these Henley Urtext books next to me. So that gives you just an idea how big 43 inches it is. Recently, my wife and daughter and I did a little Halloween trio of spooky, scary skeletons. You can watch that on Instagram, really fun with skeleton gloves. And we had to push 2 benches together. And we just tried sitting on this the other day for the first time. And my wife sat there, my little daughter sat here, and I sat here. And we still had, you know, an inch or 2 of room on both sides, which I just found pretty incredible how big this is. This is the ultimate bench for piano teachers. The reason I say that is if you have a little student sitting next to you and you want them to feel, you know, oh, feel how my hand is rotating here, they can just reach over and do that. Or if you wanted them to be at the center of the piano but you wanted to just sit next to them, you could scoot the bench over there so you're out of their way. Pretty incredible. It spans so much of the length of the keyboard that you can comfortably play duets with them or just sit next to them while they play their normal register material without any difficulty. So the other big advantage of this is its weight capacity. So you could have 2 very heavy players playing next to each other and you wouldn't even come close to the weight capacity. It's 280 kilograms is the weight capacity on this. So I would imagine that's right around 600 pounds. One small disadvantage of this, if you even want to call it that, if you have just a very small child, I don't know why you would have a super duet bench if you just have one super small child taking the piano. Maybe if you're teaching as well and you have a young child, you have to have a 100-pound capacity in order to lower it. So that kind of segues nicely into the 20-inch stool, which has a slightly lower weight capacity, so young children could, as long as they weigh, I think it's 70 pounds or so, they can adjust that. This one takes a full 100 pounds to adjust downward, that mechanism. But again, how amazing is this length to be able to practice endless amounts with a duet partner and never really have any, you're in my space type issues. This is probably the coolest bench of all of the Hydra-Medel benches, in my opinion, just because it serves so many different purposes and could be used in so many different applications. One other quick detail that I wanted to point out that you may not be able to see too clearly in this, but this pad is quite a bit thicker than the other pads. And I asked the owner of PianoWorks, why is that? And he said, well, when you're stretching it across that longer form factor, they wanted to include a thicker pad. And I have to say, it's actually even more comfortable than the other benches. So just a little bit more plush of a cushion. All right. We're at the opposite end of the spectrum. This is the 20-inch, but I'm still comfortably on this bench. So if we wanted to do that same Henley test here, I could set 2 right here and then still have, an inch or 2. I know that's a silly comparison. It's just 20 inches. You could get a tape measure out, but that gives you a little musical reference there. This is still plenty wide for me. And actually, one of the interesting points is some of the cheaper or less expensive benches, adjustable benches that are in the $150 to $250 range, are actually this wide. This might seem extremely tiny compared to the others, but a lot of them are this wide. And with the lower center of gravity, these legs are heavy legs, you're going to still get a lot of sturdiness. Now, if you really rock back and forth, it's not going to be as sturdy as two dedicated legs in the 26 or the 30-inch bench, and certainly not the Super Duet. You're not going to be able to rock that thing around at all. However, I've played comfortably on this, and I'm just on a lav mic, so I don't really want to play into distort the heck out of this, but you're not going to be able to rock that thing around at all. However, I've played comfortably on this, and I'm just on a lav mic, so I don't really want to play and distort the heck out of this, but I'm not feeling unstable whatsoever as I play that. The reason some of those real fancy benches have to have that thick and wide of material is they have a very high center of gravity. Those legs, those wooden legs, weigh almost nothing. So if I go to stand up really quickly on a very flimsy bench, that bench might fall over. Whereas when I go to stand up here, I can push off really hard, and if I really push forward, I can get the bench to do that. But if I'm just standing up and sitting down normally, it doesn't wobble. One other thing that I wanted to mention is that these benches are definitely built to last. So you may upgrade your instrument, but you're not going to need to upgrade these benches. Again, if you want a more standardized bench, get the 26 or the 30-inch. The 30-inch is pretty comfortable. I'd probably go with that one if you only have up and sitting down normally, it doesn't wobble. One other thing that I wanted to mention, and sitting down normally, it doesn't wobble. One other thing that I wanted to mention is that these benches are definitely built to last. So you may upgrade your instrument, but you're not going to need to upgrade these benches. Again, if you want a more standardized bench, get the 26 or the 30-inch. The 30-inch is pretty comfortable. I'd probably go with that one if you only had to buy one and you're just doing solo. If you're going to be doing any type of duets or teaching, I would absolutely spring for the 43-inch. But if you need a space saver or something that's extremely portable, I do think the 20-inch definitely fills a niche purpose in there, and it's also the least expensive. That's another big selling point, is you can get these benches for way less than the Super Duet bench, for instance. So it's really dependent on what your needs are. On that note, PianoWorks is running a sale right now. Today, the day that this is going to release should be November 12th, and they're going to be running that through the end of this month. The year is 2020, in case you're seeing this next year or something. So they will be running a sale, a special Black Friday sale through the end of this month. However, if you're seeing this after the end of this month, you can still get a discount by using the code in the description below. Those codes may change during this Black Friday sale, and then I'll change it to their standard discount for my audience. Big thanks again to Sam and Derek at PianoWorks. If any of you have any questions, my email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com. I'll go ahead also and leave a few links in the description below. One of them is for a free webinar if you're wanting to take your skills to a little higher level with 10 of my favorite practice tips. I use those every day in my teaching and in my own practice. I'll leave a few links to my paid courses, as well as a link to the kit, all of the gear that I use to film these videos. Have a great week. Good luck in your practice sessions.
Вы что, не шутите, что ли? Что, я попал, что ли, так? Вот это единственное, то я не знаю, чего это? Нет, он себя...
С помощью YouTube тройной доход. И как вы можете зарабатывать минимум 100 тысяч рублей в месяц.
Hello there, welcome to this very bright video on a few exercises as recommended by Liszt. As some of you may know, I have studied Liszt for a very, very long time, and it has always been an idea to share a few of his favourite and my favourite exercises. And since the videos I've done recently, as of the time of recording, have been about finding your natural limits and patience and hand independence, philosophies surrounding the exercises themselves. I've given you a few exercises in those videos, but I just wanted to make one entitled thus, so that you can just focus on these 2, 3-ish
You here. Just a quick FYI, this is not live. I wanted to make this convenient for each of you to tune in at various times of the day, since I know a lot of my audience lives overseas. A time that might be convenient for me to present might be the middle of the night for you. So regardless of where you live and what time of day you're watching this, I hope you enjoy all of the content I present here. Also, please use that chat box. Let me know where you're from, how old you are, how long you've been playing the piano, and any questions you have as we go. I review all the comments at the end of each day, and your feedback helps me to know what kind of content to include in my future videos. So I just want to say a big thanks in advance for your help with that. A quick overview of this training. This webinar will be 1 hour in length. To begin, I wanted to introduce myself for 2 to 3 minutes to tell you who I am, how I got to where I'm at today, and why I created this training. We will then jump into the 10 unusual tips to take your playing to the next level. These are not only tips that I've seen change my own playing the most, but tips that have changed the lives of thousands of students who have joined my online courses over the years. I've received countless emails from these students telling me these techniques were game changers in their practice sessions. And then, if you guys are okay with it, because I'm giving away so much free value in this training, I'm going to make an exclusive offer at the end for my premier course, Pro Practice Lifetime Access, for anyone who wants to learn more beyond just this free training session. Finally, to close this training, I'll answer a list of some of the most frequently asked questions I receive from students about the course and about piano studies in general. Let's get started. First off, a little bit about me. My name is Josh Wright. I'm 31 years old, based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and I've been playing the piano since age 5. I've performed with numerous symphony orchestras, received my doctorate in piano performance, performed concerts throughout the United States and in Europe, and recorded 7 albums, including an album that hit #1 on the Billboard Classical Traditional chart. I started a YouTube channel back in 2009 to help students from around the world with their piano studies, and have grown it to over 70,000 subscribers with millions of views. I've been lucky enough to do masterclasses with some of the most famous teachers and pianists in the world, including Leon Fleischer, Menahem Pressler, and Garrick Olson. But the real highlights of my career, the most life-changing moments, have been the one-on-one lessons with each of my 3 amazing teachers, Susan Duhlmeyer, Sergei Babayan, and Logan Skelton. These are 3 of the finest teachers alive today, and the techniques and strategies they have taught to me have helped me learn what it takes to practice, prepare, and perform at a very high level. After learning all of this valuable information, I went onto YouTube and searched other online resources, only to find that there was a serious lack of high-quality, top-end training available to help people in their piano studies. I've made it a life goal to help as many pianists as possible with the revolutionary techniques these brilliant pedagogues have given to me. And I'm super excited to share my 10 unusual tips to 10x your piano skills right now. Okay, let's just establish this right here, right now. Finger staccato is most likely the best bang for your buck out there. I was originally not going to include this in the training because I thought, oh, everybody probably does this already. But member after member of the Pro Practice Lifetime Access group wrote to me saying that this is the greatest technique I've taught them and that they've seen more improvement from doing this exercise than any other exercise. As one member, Susan, put it, simply release one key before playing the next. Another member said, that image you gave of plucking a guitar string completely changed the way I thought of piano technique in general and has helped me in so many areas of my playing. This method is so simple, but you'd be amazed at how many students have technique problems and how many of those problems are solved by applying it. Let's jump into an intermediate level piece I cover in the course, Solfeggiato by CPE Bach, to demonstrate, but keep in mind, this can be applied at the most basic or the most advanced levels of piano playing. All right, let's take a look at Solfeggiato, and I'm going to immediately start demonstrating with that finger staccato.